up, and welcome to the No Bullshit Manifestation Show. I'm your host, Kat Kozad, manifestation expert, money mindset and fulfillment coach, and multiple six-figure entrepreneur. Come sit with me while I spill the real tea on what it's like to practice using intentional manifestation, demystify all of the woo-woo and confusing bullshit that comes along with creating the life of your dreams, and give you a realistic view of what it's like to be on a personal, spiritual, and professional growth journey. The goal of this podcast is to support and guide you towards manifesting all of your dreams, shed light on the things that people are too scared to talk about, and encourage you to become the person who gets to have it all, be it all, and do it all. I am so happy you are here. Let's fucking do this thing. What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the No Bullshit Manifestation Show. As you can see by the title, today we are going to be talking about orgasms. We're going to be talking about sex. We're going to be talking about pleasure, all in honor of Valentine's Day. Whether you are in a relationship or not, this episode is for you. But if sex is a topic that triggers you or a topic that you prefer not to listen to, this may not be the podcast episode for you because, we are talking about sex. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. We all know the song. But yes, this has been the most highly requested podcast topic that I have gotten since I started the podcast. And I'm so fucking excited to be talking about orgasmic manifestation with y'all today because not only is it a little secret tool that I've kept in my tool belt since the beginning of my manifestation practices, but all of you want to be doing it as well if you are not already doing it. So I thought Valentine's Day is the perfect time to talk about this so that you can either show yourself a little love tonight with some masturbation, or you can bring this to your partner and spice up your sexy time with a manifestation practice. So I'm going to give you a few different parts to this manifestation. First part is going to be explaining what orgasmic manifestation actually is and how you can implement it into your life. And then we're also going to be talking about the importance of pleasure and the importance of sexual energy in your life and how it ties into the manifestation practice. So essentially, when it comes to orgasmic manifestation, why it's so important is because that energy of an orgasm, the energy that takes place whilst having sex, the energy that you have inside of your body while masturbating or reaching some sort of climax, that is your life force energy. That is the energy that you quite literally have the power to make life from. And if you can make life from that energy, you can make anything from that energy. And when it comes to this practice, whether you are doing this solo or you are doing this with a partner, the importance of this is to set an intention for whatever it is that you're wanting to call it. So personally, in my life, my favorite thing to think about or set the intention for when I am purposely going in for a little sesh with myself or with a partner is money. As y'all know, I fucking love money. And setting the intention for whatever it is, the next income goal that I have for myself or an unexpected amount of money that I desire to show up in my life, I will make sure that that intention is set before going into the exercise. Because one of the things that when I've shared this with my friends in the past, they're like, fuck, you can think in that moment when you're hitting the big O, like you can think about what it is that you're wanting to manifest in that moment. And if I'm being completely honest, I probably could, but I know for a lot of people, that moment when you're reaching a climax is so intense that it's almost like everything goes out the window. There's no other thing that you can focus on except for that. And if that is you, totally okay. Setting this intention before it is also super powerful because the whole process of leading up to that point of climax is going to tie into this manifestation process. But if you can also be aware of whatever it is that you are wanting to manifest whilst climaxing, that's just the cherry on top. So for example, with me, I'm going to lay it out in this kind of idea for you, is getting into that space where I'm setting the intention, I'm feeling that turn on energy, that fire inside of myself, and allowing myself to really focus in on the emotion of what this intention would bring into my life. So let's say you're wanting to manifest $50,000. And you are setting that as the intention going into this practice of either self-pleasure and self-play, or with your partner going into having sex with them. And as you are in that experience, you're wanting to get into the emotional state of it already happening, of you celebrating the fact that you've brought in whatever it is that you're wanting, this $50,000, $1 million, whatever it is. And as you are connecting with your body, connecting with that life force energy, you are calling that closer and closer to you because you're essentially opening up this portal of pleasure inside of your body. You are taking yourself from whatever vibrational state that you've been in and elevating yourself into a super high vibrational state by getting to that moment of climax and to getting to that moment of ecstasy. And whilst doing it, like I said, if possible, at that climax, either like you can say it to yourself in your head, you can say it out loud, you can just visualize it and put yourself into that end scenario of it already happening as you're reaching that climax, as you're reaching the peak of it, because that high vibrational energy then gets emitted out into the universe and by the law of attraction will at some point manifest back into your life. And the reason that I love this practice so much is because orgasms are so fucking good for our hormones as women. When we are in this place of being turned on, tuned in to our sexuality, to our pleasure inside of our bodies, we are so much more magnetic. And I like to call this well-fucked women energy. So like, you know, that girl who's walking down that street, that girl who walks in the room who just has the most magnetic energy. That is what I call well-fucked woman energy. She is turned the fuck on by life. Whether you've actually been getting fucked or you have been having that practice with yourself and getting into this state of pleasure and playing with yourself and feeling turned on by your life individually, that energy shows. That energy is so magnetic to the people around you. And when you're in that state, that well-fucked woman energy, people want to give you things. People want to give you attention. People want to give you their time. People want to show up and gift you. I can imagine if you're listening to this podcast, if you've ever been in that energy, you totally know what I'm talking about, where you have the best sex of your life and then you feel incredible the next day, or you feel incredible that entire next week. It's because you're carrying that life force energy inside of you. You're carrying that energy of pleasure, that well-fucked woman energy with you throughout that next day, that next week, however long it lasts. And in that state, you are so much more magnetic to attracting and manifesting the things that you desire into your life. So coming back to this concept of orgasmic manifestation, we have the power to do this whenever whatever we want. Whether this be a daily ritual for you, a weekly ritual for you, a monthly ritual for you, it's so important for us to get into this state of feeling so fucking turned on by our lives. Because when we are turned on by our lives, we are truly in that feminine core, in that place of sensuality and play and intuition and flow and ease. Everything in life feels so much more juicy and so much more aligned. And when we get disconnected from our pleasure, when we get disconnected from our sensuality, from our sexuality, from our feminine core, from what we carry as women inside of our bodies, then that's when life starts to feel really fucking challenging. That's when we feel as though we have to play into the hustle structures, the masculine structures that especially like Western cultures very much so center a lot of life around. But we have this super fucking power inside of ourselves at all time to tap back in to our sensuality, to our sexuality, and turn ourselves back on sexually, but also just to our lives. And this is why I also wanted to tie in the concept of pleasure, whether it be you actually having an orgasm, you masturbating, you having sex with your partner, or practicing some other way to create pleasure in your life. That is going to be so fucking powerful for you, because the feminine energy as a woman, we most of the time are feminine to our core. And both sexes have both energies, masculine and feminine. And I'm not saying that this is exclusive just to women having the feminine energy. This is definitely a podcast episode I'll also do explaining the difference between the feminine and the masculine energy. But both sexes have it. Men and women both have the feminine and masculine energy. But for us as women, most of the time, we are feminine to our core. Majority of women are feminine to their core. And when we are disconnected from pleasure, when we're disconnected from play, when we're disconnected from our bodies, from our yonis, from the parts of ourselves that make us so feminine, so sensual, so sexual, then that's when we feel disconnected from life. That's when we feel disconnected from ourselves. So coming into this position of recognizing how important pleasure is to the feminine energy and incorporating pleasure into our life on a daily basis. And some of the ways that I like to do this is, like we've been talking about, orgasmic manifestation. Love to play with myself. Love to have that time where I just so fully focus on making my body feel so loved, so taken care of. And a lot of the times I recognize with the conversations that I have with the people in my life about sex and about masturbation is that they're waiting for their partners to make them feel a certain way. And it is our responsibility as women to understand how to make ourselves feel the way that we want our partners to make us feel. And we have the power as women to understand how to make ourselves feel that way without our partner. Because if you do not understand that for yourself, it's going to be really hard to guide somebody else to help you feel that way as well. So allowing yourself to step into this arena of self-pleasure, whether that be you starting with getting coconut oil and massaging your body, sensually massaging your body, paying attention to every single bit of your body and rubbing it and touching it as if you would want your lover to touch you, as if you would be in this completely seductive state that somebody else is doing this for you, really pouring that love, pouring that affection, pouring that attention into every single bit of your body and allowing yourself to fully feel turned on by that experience. And diving into how enjoyable it can be, how much pleasure you can get out of that moment. In addition to just incorporating moments of joy throughout your day. One of my favorite fucking things that I do every single day is have naked dance parties, whether it be in the shower or looking in the mirror or in the kitchen, just allowing myself to tap in with the way that my body wants to move, the way that my body wants to flow. Because just like I've been saying about the feminine energy, we want to play. We are so intuitive. We're in this state of flow. We want to be turned on and tuned into our sensuality and our sexuality, and dancing and allowing your body to move in whatever way it wants to move. I wish y'all could see me right now. Swaying back and forth, moving with my body as I'm saying that. It just ignites something inside of me. It makes me feel so much joy and so much pleasure. And when you add that extra layer, and this is if you feel comfortable with it, and I definitely encourage anybody and everybody listening to this podcast episode, if this is something that you feel uncomfortable with, being naked with yourself, to start to get to that place with yourself, allowing yourself to just fully be with yourself naked, whether that be you taking your clothes off and just standing before you're jumping in the shower, before you're doing anything else, because so much of the time, the only times that we're naked is like if we're transitioning between pajamas to shower, shower to getting dressed to back into pajamas. And it's like, God, allow yourself to be with this beautiful body, with this skin that you've been given, and feel it and look at it and admire it. And if that is something that is challenging for you, that's definitely an incredible area that you can start to dive in and do the inner work to heal that relationship with your body, to heal that relationship with yourself, because through that, there's so much that shifts inside of your vibration to start to be so much more in that magnetic feminine energy that I've been talking about, and allows manifestation to be so much easier because you're so connected with your body, with the way it moves, with that sensuality, that sexuality, like I've said many a times on this podcast episode, because we truly, truly thrive off of that. And this can go all the way down to the way that you eat your food. As you're eating your food, paying attention to every single bit of food that is going into your body, and just feeling so nourished, so happy, so present with that going into your body, feeling the pleasure that comes out of nourishing your body in that kind of way, allowing yourself to see eating and drinking as that experience of like pleasure, that you're nourishing your body in that kind of way, and that you can withdraw so much pleasure from a simple experience like that. Same with the way that you talk, the way that you present yourself, allowing it to be connected to this sense of pleasure inside of yourself, as opposed to just trying to get from point A to point B as fast as possible, or disconnect from what is actually there inside of us, which is this desire to be held in this pleasurable, joyful, sensual energy. So you can start this in ways that is not just going straight into masturbating or straight into grabbing your rose quartz dildo and going for it. You can start this in ways that literally start with our day-to-day movements, our day-to-day actions, and bringing more pleasure to the table, because bringing that pleasure into the equation, like I've been saying, is going to make you feel so much more fucking turned on for your life. And when you feel turned on by life, you are so magnetic. Like, the most magnetic energy is a woman who feels turned on by her life. So starting at any place and allowing yourself to get to the place of orgasmic manifestation or whatever feels aligned to you inside of your body, but definitely recognizing that if this is an area that you feel a lot of discomfort within, to allow yourself to start to slowly but surely tap into it. I can say from my personal experience, I used to not be able to look at myself in the mirror naked. It was one of the most debilitating practices for me because for years and years and years, I was so hateful towards my body. And that was based off a lot of childhood trauma with being bullied for being overweight and just so many things that went into my relationship with food and my body. And as a manifestation of that, feeling so much resistance to looking at myself in the mirror naked, and slowly but surely stepping into that arena of appreciating my body and looking at my body in this way that I never had before, through the lens of love, through the eyes of, wow, this body is a gift. This body deserves to be cared for. This body deserves pleasure. That has completely shifted the way that I've been able to show up now inside of my body. And now you can't get me to wear clothes. I say this to my friends all the time. There's that meme out there that's always like, you either have a naked neighbor or you are the naked neighbor. I'm the fucking naked neighbor. If you live in New York City nearby, which nobody knows where I live. So, I mean, some people probably do, but yeah, sorry. You're probably seeing me walking around naked all the time because I just love to be with my body. I love to be with my body. And I love that through that feeling, I just feel so fucking turned on by life. I feel so connected to my sexuality. I feel so connected to my pleasure, to play, to intuition. And that has led me to the position that I'm so able to hear that voice of intuition and follow what my intuition wants to guide me towards, which is always closer and closer to my manifestations. And for anybody who's feeling that way about their intuition, yes, it's always guiding you closer and closer to your manifestations. So knowing that this is such a powerful practice to strengthen your intuition and strengthen that feminine magnetic energy inside of yourself to make manifestation so much fucking easier. So with all of that being said, short, sweet episode for Valentine's Day. I hope that all of you enjoy this episode and want to try any and all of the things that I talked about inside of this episode, whether that be solo or with a partner, and really allow yourself to get into this turned on energy, because if you have not felt it, it is the most incredible feeling to be in the state of feeling turned on by yourself, by your life, by your body, by all of the different things. And I hope that this podcast episode leads you closer to that. So if you enjoyed it, if you know that any of your girlfriends also would enjoy it, please send it their way. Please share it. The more that we can share the word on this podcast, the more that I get to continue to support all of you beautiful souls and make the world a better place, make the world a more turned on place, because let's be honest, we need more well-fucked women walking around making this place a better place to live. So with that being said, I love you all. Have an incredible Valentine's Day, and I will talk to you on the next episode. Oh my gosh. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I am so grateful to have these no bullshit talks with you. If you enjoyed today's episode or the podcast as a whole, please spread the love by leaving me a review on iTunes or sharing the podcast with others. This is how I will be able to spread more of these good vibes and be able to make more of an impact on the lives of others. And if you're not already part of all of the goodness and community that I have to offer, check out the show notes. I have links to the different ways that I can support you on your manifestation journey and help you live a life full of more money, fulfillment, and freedom. But that is all for now. So big love and hugs, and I will chat with you soon, babe.